back here for a while, and I can already say that I have been super moved by the worship that's in the room. We've had a couple of songs so far where I could hear the kids singing over what we were singing, and it put me in a different place spiritually.
Hey everyone, this is Kevin Lofton again. I'm here interviewing the North River Band, and we're in Campton, Kentucky. We're at the middle school, and they do the worship service at Desi Scott, and our worship leader is Courtney. Would you like to just introduce yourself one by one and tell me kind of what you do, each one?
You want to start? Yeah, I'll start. My name is Macy, and I play acoustic guitar mostly, and I sing. And I'm Courtney. I'm the worship leader. I put all the songs together, and I sing as well.
I'm Josh. I play the drums and everything else.
There you go.
I'm John. I run the soundboard and the lights and all that stuff. So yeah.
I'm Zach. I sing.
All right. So y'all been coming here for 8 years. We all pretty much have come in there 8 years. So we have y'all. So you've had experience coming here. So I always say this: what is the most memorable highlight you've had in each one of y'all?
That's hard. There's so many.
Right.
There's really so many, and they all involve one of the boys, I feel like. But just from worship leader point of view, one of my favorite things that ever happens is having the boys on the front row and seeing them worship and just watching the most genuine form of worship I think we've ever seen. And there was the time when Macy was playing guitar and one of the boys yelled out, "I love you, Macy!" And it was just it was cool because he was connecting with the music, but it was because he had connected with Macy. And so Macy just got to really be the hands and feet of God for that little boy.
What about you, Macy? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty special. That was the same night that I also sang a song for him called "By Your Side," that same little boy.
Mm-hmm.
That song was something that I connected with as a child, so it was really interesting that he also connected with it. So
Okay.
I loved playing that for him.
Josh?
For me, every year is a concert of prayer, for sure. Even being behind the scenes, I mean, when I was younger, I got to experience it as an actual participant, but now being part of the team that puts it on, it's still an incredibly moving experience. And the fact that it's always different, but it still tells the same story, and I just get something new out of it every year.
I would say the same thing for the most part. My first concert prayer is where I got saved, so getting to put it together for everybody else and hoping they have the same experience that I did is really important to me and something that I look forward to and helping everybody else out with.
Yeah. I could hear the kids singing over what we were singing, and it put me in a different place spiritually.
For me, since I've been here, it was last night when y'all did the, go together. I love that. It was so cool. You need to get more pumped up, man. You just need to get pumped. Now I'm going to ask you something else a little bit more difficult. And it was really, what is the most difficult situation you had to deal with here?
Well, for me, I work with the boys with autism, and I write the curriculum for it. So I deal with a lot of the behaviors over there. The behaviors are difficult, but knowing where the behaviors came from and why they have the behaviors is more difficult. So hearing the stories of how the boys have been abandoned or just not appreciated for who they are as people is heartbreaking, and I think it's the reason that we come back is they need family.
But you also have a dual role. You do worship and you deal with the kids too.
Yeah.
So you do a lot more. I mean, you do.
Yeah, it's a lot. But it's my heart, like I get to work with the boys that have autism, which is what I love. But I also love youth ministry, and to be able to put those two things together is really just like it's the best of both worlds, and I love it.
You really do put 110% out.
Thank you.
So,
What was the question again? Most difficult.
yeah, what is your most difficult situation you had to deal with? I mean, you can be a specific or broad. I mean,
I don't really feel like I've had too many difficult situations in terms of like being with the band. Like it's been pretty easy going. I will say concert prayer does take a lot out of you. So
Mm-hmm.
it's the best day, but it's also the hardest day in terms of what I do. So I just have to play for like, I don't know, 10 hours. So it's nice.
For me, I'd say the first couple of years was like my first. I mean, I've met kids with autism, but it was my first actual like exposure to on that level, and not just being like maybe in the same class or the same school, but actually like personally getting to know kids on the spectrum. And so the first couple of years, it was awkward and just kind of uncomfortable because it's something I'm not used to. But now it's just, you know, it's like meeting any other kid. So.
I would kind of agree with Macy in the sense of like, it's pretty relaxed, pretty laid back, but like concert prayer is definitely very intensive when it comes to setup.
Very
And I would say for you are the most agreeable person, and you do everything that anybody asks you to do. So you have an amazing,
Definitely. Yeah.
No doubt.
you know, and you it's been a while, but still, you look back
Well, no,
years
I
ago.
mean,
and
I can tell you this year right now, the difficulty that I'm grateful I'm being challenged with is just the like social aspect of being the like the energy to the worship, because there's a responsibility to also go out and engage with the kids because they see you up and singing and dancing and all that, and you want to interact with them so that it's not just empty words. And as loud as I am on stage, I'm a very shy and introverted person, so my social battery runs out real quick, and I'm not really good at creating conversation. So it's definitely an active challenge to be better at that.
Good. I mean, I have a little bit of a different situation with my difficult. First year I was here, or second, whenever I cut my Achilles,
Yeah. We remember that.
I was supposed to be on the top of a roof, and all I was able to do was just stay on the ground and then point people what to do. You know, I felt like a third wheel, just sitting on there going, "What am I doing here?"
Yeah.
And I was still in pain because it was just like it had happened like a week before.
Yeah.
Ouch. But the enjoyable one is watching all the kids' faces come by after the concert when they leave.
Yeah.
And they, you know, and
I love being able to interact with them at the end.
yeah,
If I
I'm
get a
not about
chance.
I'm not about the boy. I'm talking about our own kids.
Yeah, our own
too.
kids.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, having them, and you can tell which ones have been affected, and you can see which ones are going to talk later.
Yeah, it's really cool
You
to
know.
see because you
I
know
sit in
that
the
God has
back and-
purposed for that kid to be here for this reason, and it's really, I think it's humbling. I think it's where we all come into, like, it's humbling to be able to be a part of it, and it's cool to be a part of the concert prayer because we can't see anything that's happening.
Right.
But
I
the
mean,
spirit
last
is
year when
moving. Yeah.
Feel it.
This is my second year when I did some of the recording, and the recording I did last year was pretty neat. I didn't make a very long snippet, but that captures the entirety of it. Even that little snip blip that you had.
And it's cool because you can get that little piece, but it's what we can't explain when we get home.
Right.
You know, what God does and the way that God moves in teenagers, I think, too, because people really kind of underestimate teenagers and don't give them the time of day a lot of times, and just to see that, you know, for them to be able to say, yes, God knows my name, and in this moment He called it, and for it to be such a personal experience for them, and for us to get to be a part of that, like, it's
I think
it's
too-
powerful.
I think too, it's interesting. Like I've come for 4 years now, and there have been times when I was beside myself, like internally, and somehow God pulls me together when I'm on stage, and I'm able to bring that to them. And I think that's incredible because there's a lot of times that I'm just not there mentally, and somehow it works out. So I'm
I
grateful
think-
to be a part of that.
I think that's really important for us as a band, is making sure that we're not up there performing. It's not a performance for us. We have fun and we're gonna hype them up, and we're gonna, you know, that's our job to bring the energy. But if we don't believe what we sing, then it doesn't matter. It's all
Right.
for nothing, right? And so, what I pray before we go on the stage is not like, oh, let this be a great set. I mean, that would be nice if everything went well, but it's not about hitting the right notes or being perfect all the time. It's about letting Christ shine through us, and that's so important for us, because sometimes, I guess, since we're on the stage, we become the cool people, which is wild to me. But
They have it so wrong.
yeah, but it's like what you were saying about like interacting with people, it's so important because we can remind them, like, there's nothing special about us being
Yeah.
on stage. We're just worshiping, and it's cool to be able to do that with a bunch of teenagers too. Yes.
Josh or John, you have anything? No?
I mean, I would agree with that. We met a kid last night who didn't know we were part of the band, and we were talking to him about like Pokemon and Magic and all that
Yeah.
stuff. We're the two of us at least are like some of the biggest nerds you'll ever meet. But at the same time, it's really funny having people come up to you and be like, "Oh my God, you're so cool! That was such a great job last night. I want to be up there with you," or something like that. It's really weird.
Yeah. I'm asking one other question. So, where do you see yourself? Your plans are for the next year, 4 years out. What would you like to do to expand this to expand this? Your not just but your group together. Could you expand it? Do you get more creative or whatever with this?
Gotta bag us a drummer. And a guitar player.
I think we always hope for more musicians for the band. But again, we're going to bring what we have to the table, and God's going to do with it what needs to be done. But for me, and I think I could probably speak on behalf of y'all, I'm never not coming to this project. Like this is where I need to be. This is where we need to be. And however the project changes or whatever, we'll just roll with the punches and we'll be part of it. But it's cool to be able to worship with everybody, be a part of that, and also love on some kids outside of our groups too.
Mm-hmm.
But for me as a youth pastor, this project is really important to teaching my kids to see people who are often overlooked. Because what I pray for my students is that they would be different, and that it would cause people to ask questions and they'd be brave enough to answer them.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the things that I pray. And the way to be different is to see the people that nobody else sees. And I think this project really highlights that, and kind of just helps you to refocus on what's important.
Do you wish there were any changes that you can make? That you can make?
I would love to be able to incorporate younger students with autism. Love to be able to do that, and I would love for everybody on the project to be able to have a specific time to interact with someone that has autism, because I do think it's such a stereotypical diagnosis, and people think they know a lot about it, and these boys come with so much more than a diagnosis. I just think that's a special part of our project, is that it gets to be personal like that, and I would love for it to be that way for everyone at the project.
But you also have a program, don't you, that Labor of Love?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, sure. So our church also does Labor of Love. So on Labor Day weekend, we have focused on coming back to Buckhorn and trying to do as many projects as we can within that weekend with whoever is here. So for example, one weekend we came and we painted every classroom in the boys' school. We've painted a mural there. We've done we built furniture. Y'all, what else did we do? All kinds of stuff. But we get to spend a little bit of extra time with them and invest in them outside of just this project to make sure that they know that we're not leaving them. That's really important. And maybe they don't need me, but I need them. So to be able to come back and do that. And we also try really hard to do things at Christmas for them as well. And we also have many people throughout our church that sponsor the boys for their birthdays and provide birthday parties for them.
I mean, since you do more than just band, I know that y'all may have done Labor of Love. I know you.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have been.
Yeah, so it's more than just y'all involved with more.
I love
counting
getting
into
to
it.
actually do some work.
Yeah.
Some work sites. I love doing that.
We came up here, was it 2 years ago? We were working, it was right after the flood, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we were working up in Buckhorn on this dude's house it was amazing because his neighbor, no flood damage. His house was pretty much underwater up to the second story, and there's maybe a 5-foot difference in elevation.
It's like just another little mini, weekend long mission trip. So it's nice to just for the smaller things. It doesn't need 200 people to get it done. To still go in and just pick up.
Y'all worship together there too.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
friends? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at. So awesome. Bring it out, and hope y'all can. My hope is that y'all can show the world what y'all are doing, and hope this whole process to show the world what this project is about. Not just, the Buckhorn project, not just what y'all doing, but the whole
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
The children's home, the foster care, the rehab center. You know, I don't know if you haven't really been talking to the women like in
Yeah,
much or the men.
I've interacted with them a little bit, but
So-
my focus is the boys down here. But to hear Miss Joy, the CEO, say all of the programs that Buckhorn
Yeah.
Family Services provides is just their impact is huge, and it's so cool to be able to be a part of keeping this organization rolling because we love this community. It's not just the boys. It's not just.
I mean, I don't know how you can incorporate. I would love to see how we just have just a worship just for the rehab people.
Yeah.
For just to dedicate, maybe during the day, middle of the day, where during the kids, not for us,
Yeah.
but for them.
Yeah. I think
You
that's the
see-
hard part for us too, is being in two separate parts of the mountain. Like
Yeah.
it's easier for
It's
the
so
boys
far.
to come to worship,
Right.
and I do wish we could incorporate the ladies and the men a little bit more. But I'm glad that they get to be a part of concert of prayer.
Sure, but I'm just saying you can maybe to
But-
go there too,
Yeah.
and just having to get at
Yeah.
their cabins or something. It may be more intimate.
Yep.
More
Hands and more musicians would make
Yeah.
that would make that really
Bigger.
easy.
So what are you missing there? You tell your musicians. What do you want to see?
We need a
Electric guitar.
Yeah, we need
Bass.
a consistent
Electric
bass.
guitar, and bass, yeah.
We have people that kind of come in and out, and
Keys, maybe.
coming during the summer is difficult. I get that. People, not everybody's a teacher that gets the summers off, and so that's difficult. We're thankful that we have what we have, but there's always room for more.
Yes, the more manpower you get, because especially in worship music, a lot of people are multi-instrumentalists. Like
Right.
Josh plays literally everything, so he can go wherever we need him the most. So it's just, if we had more hands to cover more of the spectrum, we'd be able to divide up.
Josh,
a little
weren't you in, what was it, Dallas or Savannah? You were playing bass a little bit and showing them off.
My first trip was Savannah. And
Yeah.
I got to play a couple, a little bit with the band. But my first actual trip as part of the band was Dallas. I
Yeah,
believe.
was
It
you
the second
bass? I
year
can't
in Dallas,
remember.
I think I played bass.
The
So,
cool
I mean-
part though, like this week we don't have a bass player, but we have a student here that plays bass, and so it did kind of open a door for us. And he's gonna play with us on Thursday and Friday. He actually has his parents like making a special trip and making sure that we get the bass and stuff. Even though we have one here, he wants to play his
Yeah.
bass, but
I get that.
the instruments are also a really good way for us to connect with the students too.
Yeah.
If they like drums, like come on up and play. Come on up.
Yeah, I
and-
always try to
and
bring
play
extra
guitar.
instruments in case somebody wants to join.
Cool. Cool. That'd be great. Awesome. Anything else you want to close off with, or? I tell you what, y'all did really good. I'm much appreciative of that.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah.